changed for him after that? And do you think kind of the first mistake affected him going forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you start a game off, the first drive were plays that we script, our first 15, or the plays that we like as a staff, and he had opportunities to execute. And I thought the first drive, he did a good job. Obviously, this is still his first career start in college. And so he's made some mistakes. He threw the ball into double coverage, maybe threw the ball down the field on a short situation where, we'd like him to take a higher percentage throw and make a better decision there. But, for the most part, I thought that he didn't show signs of being uncomfortable, but, it was his first start. And I think some of that was first start jitters, but these are things that will get corrected. I like the way he took coaching on the sideline, and I expect that you'll see him improve with each week.
And did you feel, I know you said earlier that you don't want to give your quarterbacks a short leash. What was kind of your thinking with just staying committed to him and kind of trying to let him work through those problems?
Yeah, I mean, he's our quarterback. He earned the right to be our starting quarterback. Did the things that we thought would give us the best chance to win. Obviously, as I said, none of us, coaches included, played a good game or had a great game offensively, defensively, special teams. As with the quarterback, of course, he takes the brunt of the criticism, especially when you turn it over. But again, these are things that when you watch the tape, and we're going to get on the tape as soon as we can, when we get back, we'll be able to get these things corrected. And he's one of those players that, he doesn't make the same mistake twice. So I would expect that he'll continue to improve once we're able to get him to show him the tape.
We'll go to Lila.
Hey, Locks. The defense, especially, in that first half, was allowing, a lot of chunk plays for defense. What do you think were kind of the biggest errors there in terms of that open coverage?
Well, I think the big thing is one, we put our defense on the field a lot early. You look at the time of possession and the turnovers, and the thing that was encouraging for us is that we held them to field goals, I think 2 or 3 times when we put them in bad situations with the turnovers. Obviously the big play, it comes off of the run action when they were able to establish the run game, and then you start committing extra guys up front trying to stop the run. We didn't play with great eye discipline, and again, gave up some big plays there on the back end. But again, we're going to have to get these things corrected. It starts with being able to play the run with the front 7, generate a little more pass rush. Obviously, we didn't rattle or disrupt the quarterback's timing. But, this is what we've got to get fixed here in the next day or 2.
And just to follow up on that, what did you emphasize with, the defense at halftime to be able to, allow a little bit, less yardage and scores in the second?
I think the big thing was playing the next play. Sometimes if you look out there, I mean, we played a lot of players today, and it's intentional. We feel like we've built and gained some depth. This is our first opportunity to gauge how guys play in game situations, which is great because now we'll get the chance to evaluate it off of tape, see what guys who played well or who did some things good, and then make some decisions as to how we want to play our players. But, we're a work in progress as a team. We're going to continue to try to develop as much depth as we possibly can. A lot of new players playing their first game as Terps. And I would expect that we'll continue to improve with every game.
Thank you.
Yep.
Andy Costa.
Hey, Coach, what factored into some of the difficulties running the ball tonight?
Well, I thought we ran the ball efficiently when we tried to run. The big thing is when we had the penalties, a couple of drive-stopping penalties where when we get a little bit of momentum, I just never felt like after the first drive that we had any rhythm on offense. And to me, it's all about rhythm, and we're one of those teams that when we can play with tempo and we can get up and go, we tend to be able to string plays together. Today, I just felt like the rhythm was off. We took a couple of shots down the field We had the 2 interceptions where we threw into coverage, and those are the things that just kind of get you out of your rhythm. And when you give up points like we gave up, then you start playing catch up. But I thought the running game was efficient early, but just not consistent enough, and something we've got to get going.
Just a follow up. Why did Tayon Fleet Davis not travel? Was that injury related, or did it stem from last year?
It was stemmed from last year. Obviously, he's still working through some of the on-campus things that were required of him. He's done everything we've asked of him, so the expectation is to hope to have him back here in time for the next game. But again, we'll see.
Thank you.
Yep.
Go to Jacob Steinberg.
Hey, Coach. Northwestern obviously had a lot of success in the run game tonight. I know you and your staff haven't had a chance to watch the film yet, but it seemed like particularly they were attacking the edges consistently. What do you think allowed Northwestern to have so much success in the run game?
Well, for us to stop the run, it's all about gap control and guys maintaining the integrity of what gap they're responsible for. A couple of times they were able to get the edge on us. We got cut down and cut out of our gaps a couple of times. I didn't think we tackled great early on. And I also felt like we didn't commit as many people to the run as we would normally like to. In the second half, we committed extra guys up to the line of scrimmage, played a little more man coverage, which now gives us forces on both edges. And I thought we played it a little bit better. Still not even close to the way we're going to need to play the run in this league. And again, we got to get the tape watched, figure out if it was schematic or figure out if it was fundamentals, individual fundamentals, and make sure we get those things corrected here and get them corrected quickly.
Just a quick follow-up. You mentioned how the defense was on the field a lot, particularly early on. Do you think that played a factor at all in the defense not being able to necessarily maintain the gaps on a lot of the big plays?
No, you know what? They know around here that you got to play defense whenever you're called upon. We've got to do our job on offense, obviously, to take care of the football better. But defensively, we're not going to make excuses for being on the field as the reason we got to stop the run. I mean, the key to stopping the run is getting 11 hats to the ball, making sure we're really sound with our gap integrity, making sure we do a good job of getting off of blocks. And these are, things that I don't think we did consistent enough to stop the run against a good Northwestern team. And you got to give Northwestern credit. Their experience up front on the O-line. They did a good job, and we've got to do a better job of, like I said, being really gap sound and getting off blocks and running to the football.
Thank you.
Yep.
Go to Ed Lee.
Mike, I'm going to apologize for butchering his name, but do you have a status update on Darrell Inchami?
Yeah, he went down with some type of lower leg injury and early on. We're waiting to get back to find out, get an MRI done to see what's wrong. And really that's the only update I got, was that he was out, lower leg injury, and that we plan on getting an MRI when we get back.
Are there any other players that you're concerned about health-wise?
He was the only one that was brought to my attention before I came in here.
And then, you've mentioned how young this team is and how many new faces there are on the roster. How concerned are you that a loss like this might affect their confidence?
Not at all. It's our jobs as coaches to make sure that doesn't happen. As I told the team, there were some good things that happened tonight, and those are the things we got to try to build on. Obviously, we didn't play well in any of the 3 phases, or play well enough in any of the 3 phases, and it was against a good team in Northwestern. So what we've got to do as a staff is get the tape watched, evaluate whether personnel decisions need to be made, schematic things that we need to adjust, get it done quickly, and then, like I said, put this game behind us and continue to try to develop this team each and every week.
And then Lance was in there, I think, for the last series. What'd you take from his play out there?
Yeah, I thought he did what we've seen Lance do the last 3-4 weeks. Much improved in his decision making. Obviously, there's a comfort level with him and what we do because of the experience of being in it. I was glad we were able to get him some work. As I said, our goal is to develop our depth on our team. And, Lee is our starting quarterback. As I've told you guys before, Lance offers and brings some things to the table that we should and will utilize in packages to help us to be more productive on offense. But I was glad that we were able to get Lance in there at the end to get him some meaningful game reps.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.